The restaurant's chandeliers glimmered above as if they were stars stolen from the sky and caged in crystal. Michael Harrington, a man whose name had become synonymous with success, sat across from his fiancée, Claire. To anyone watching, they were the picture of perfection. An elegant man in his early 50s with salt and pepper hair and piercing blue eyes, and a graceful woman in her 30s with warmth radiating through her every smile. They weren't just any couple. Michael was one of the wealthiest men in the city, a man who built his empire from scratch. Yet, beneath the tailored suits and marble offices, he carried scars invisible to most. Years ago, he had lost his only son in a tragic accident, or so he thought. Claire noticed him stiffen whenever a child with tousled brown hair ran past. She had watched him flinch at laughter that reminded him of what he once had and lost. Michael never spoke much about it, but grief wrapped around him like an old coat he couldn't throw away. That night, as they dined, Claire's gaze drifted to a boy at the far corner of the restaurant. He was around 12, wearing a worn-out hoodie, sleeves too short for his arms, and shoes that had clearly seen better days. He wasn't eating but staring longingly at plates carried past him. Alone, with eyes that seemed both defiant and vulnerable. Claire leaned forward, her hand brushing against Michael's. Her voice was soft but carried weight. "He looks like your lost son." Michael turned, annoyed at first. But when his eyes landed on the boy, his heart skipped. The resemblance was uncanny. Same sharp chin, same unruly brown hair, same intense eyes that seemed to hide a story. For a moment, Michael's world tilted. It couldn't be. His son, Daniel, had drowned at 8 years old during a vacation. Michael had searched frantically, but the river had stolen him away. There had been no body, only despair and unanswered prayers. But this boy, Michael excused himself and stood. Claire watched as he crossed the room with a hesitance uncharacteristic of him, the man who had negotiated billion-dollar deals with unwavering confidence, now unsure how to approach a child. "Hey, son," Michael said awkwardly. The boy looked up, startled. His eyes narrowed, suspicious. "I'm not your son." Michael chuckled nervously. "No, of course not. What's your name?" The boy hesitated. "Ethan." "Ethan," Michael repeated, tasting the name like it held power. "Are you here alone?" Ethan shrugged. "Does it matter?" Michael studied him. He looked hungry, tired, but pride kept him from begging. Something twisted in Michael's chest. "Have you eaten?" Ethan shook his head, trying to act indifferent, but his eyes betrayed the hunger. Michael waved a waiter over. "Bring him whatever he wants." The boy's eyes widened. "I didn't ask you to." "You didn't have to," Michael interrupted. "Consider it my treat." When the food arrived, Ethan devoured it like someone who hadn't eaten properly in days. Michael and Claire sat with him, watching silently. Michael noticed the way the boy gripped his fork as though afraid someone might snatch it away. Between bites, Ethan muttered, "Why are you being nice to me? Rich people don't care about kids like me." Michael swallowed hard. Not all rich people forget where they came from. He paused. "Where are your parents?" Ethan's jaw tightened. "Don't have any." Claire leaned forward gently. "No one at all?" Ethan's eyes flickered. "My mom, she died last year. Cancer. Dad's been gone forever." He shrugged, trying to hide the tremor in his voice. "I've been on my own since. Foster homes didn't work out. They just wanted the check, not me." The words hit Michael like a blow. The resemblance, the age, the fact that no body had ever been recovered. Hope surged where it had no right to. Could this boy actually be? Michael tried to shake the thought, but when Ethan looked up, something in his eyes made Michael's heart ache. That night, Michael and Claire drove Ethan to a safe shelter. Michael gave his number to the staff, insisting they call him for anything. Ethan resisted at first, but before leaving, Michael knelt down. "I know you don't trust me, and that's okay. But I want you to know, you're not alone anymore." Ethan's lips pressed together, but he nodded faintly. Over the next weeks, Michael visited often. He took Ethan to ball games, bought him books, listened to him talk about school, and sometimes, just sat with him in silence. Slowly, the boy who once guarded himself with barbed wire words began to soften. One evening, Michael brought Ethan to his mansion. The boy stared in awe at the vast marble halls, the chandeliers, the grand piano no one played anymore. "You live here?" Ethan whispered. Michael chuckled. "It's just a house." "Looks like a castle." Michael glanced at him. A castle's no good without family to fill it. For the first time, Ethan smiled, and Michael swore his heart recognized that smile. But doubts gnawed at him. He couldn't ignore the possibility. Could Ethan truly be Daniel? Had the river not taken his son but fate twisted their paths apart? Michael secretly arranged a DNA test. Weeks felt like years. Claire supported him quietly, though she too wondered at the uncanny resemblance. The day the results arrived, Michael sat alone in his study, the envelope trembling in his hand. He thought of all the nights he had prayed for a miracle. He thought of the guilt he carried, the son he believed he had failed to protect. He opened it. Negative. Ethan was not Daniel. The paper blurred as Michael's eyes stung. A hollow ache spread through him. Yet beneath the grief was something unexpected, a strange relief. Because in his heart, he realized, he didn't need Ethan to be his biological son to love him like one. That night, Michael visited Ethan. The boy sensed something was wrong. "You okay?" Michael smiled faintly. "I got some news today. Something I thought might change things, but it doesn't." He placed a hand on Ethan's shoulder. "You're not my lost son. But that doesn't mean you can't be my son now, if you'll let me." Ethan froze. "You mean, adoption?" Michael nodded. "If you want. No pressure, but I'd be honored." Tears welled in Ethan's eyes, but he quickly wiped them. "Nobody's ever wanted me before." "Well," Michael whispered, pulling him into a rare embrace, "now you're wanted. Very much." The adoption process was long, full of paperwork and legal obstacles, but Michael persisted with the same determination that had built his empire. Claire stood by his side, falling in love not just with Michael but with the boy who had unexpectedly completed their family. Months later, in a courtroom filled with the scent of polished wood and the sound of shuffling papers, the judge declared Ethan officially Michael's son. As they walked out together, Ethan gripped Michael's hand. "So, what do I call you now? Dad?" Michael's throat tightened. "If you want to." Ethan grinned. "Dad." Michael swallowed hard, blinking back tears. For the first time in years, the mansion felt alive. Laughter filled halls once silenced by grief. And though Daniel's memory would never fade, Michael knew love had given him a second chance. Not the one he expected, but perhaps the one he needed most.